Alright, so here we go. Breaking Bad Season 4 on the night of the finale. I wish I could have got this sooner, but to be honest, I've been horribly sick. Horribly. A month long. I feel like I'm living out the movie Contagion or something. So we start off right after Jesse blew Gale's brains out. And yes, he did shoot him. They left it ambiguous at the end of Season 3. But we all pretty much knew. And yeah, you see him dead there. Jesse flees the scene. So Gus catches Jesse using his henchman, brings Jesse back to the lab with Walt, and they're just sitting there for the longest time. It's like, what is he going to do? Because Gus isn't there. His henchmen are doing stuff. Mike and the other guy, I don't remember his name, they're just sitting there staring at him, doing the silent treatment. I'm like, I hate it when people do that. It's just annoying. Except for when Ryan Gosling does it. He can do it right. So Hank's investigating the murder, sort of, because he gets some of the evidence, and there's a chicken thing, and Gale's a vegan, so he's like, that obviously doesn't fit. And there's a lab notes containing all the Heisenberg cooking formulas and stuff, and the whole super lab blueprints and everything, and it's written out to WW. Meanwhile, Walt and Jesse are still in the lab, and the other guy tries to cook their formula, and he seems to know what he's doing. Gus comes down there trying to bargain with him, and Gus gets all cleaned up in this nice raincoat type thing, walks over and just cuts the guy's throat with a box cutter. And then he gets them to clean it up. He just leaves, and he's like, get back to work. It's like, holy crap. Because you can tell he's extremely resourceful, but if he has to, he'll come up and slit your throat himself. And it's kind of seen as like, is he sending a message? What is he exactly doing? You might not exactly know. It's a little ambiguous of what exactly he did that for. But he did it, and they have to clean it up. And melted in the plastic or whatever tub full of sulfuric acid. And they're like, you sure there's some work? And they're like, we know what we're doing. Which is a funny callback to Season 1 when they melted the guy in the tub and it fell through and destroyed the house. I don't think I mentioned that. But that was hilarious in Season 1 when they tried to do it. And here in this season, it's funny to get a callback to that. After they get out of that, Hank ends up trying to put the pieces together, and he thinks it might be Gus. Gus might be the guy in charge of all this, and he's getting all these little clues, and he's building up a case, but the other guys at the office don't exactly believe him. Meanwhile, Skyler, she's trying to tell Walt, don't spend excessively. Don't buy Walter Jr. a new Dodge Challenger. That would be stupid. We don't have the money for that. They're doing the whole car wash scheme. They buy the car wash that Walt worked at, and bogged down with a giant-ass Martin Scorsese, not even bigger than his, giant-ass eyebrows. Just, my God, what did he say in Season 1? When he quit, he was like, fuck you, bogged down on your eyebrows. So yeah, he comes back, and he buys it after a long kind of bidding process and dicking around, but he gets it and puts Skyler in charge of it, and she's going to run it and launder the money that way. But yeah, Walt ends up buying Walter Jr. the car, and then has to give it back. But instead of giving it back, he does a bunch of donuts and then blows it up. That was awesome. And also, you get Ted Beneke in the story, a character that was kind of whatever. I think he showed up a little bit. But yeah, like Skyler cheated on Walt with him, and you find out he's like ripping his own company off or something. He's like cutting corners, and I don't exactly get it, but Skyler kind of helps him out with that, trying to get him back on his feet. Shit doesn't work out. IRS is going to rip him off. So she takes some of Walt's money, gives it to him, tells him to fix it. And the stupid asshole, if you felt sorry for him, you don't after this. He buys himself a Bentley or something, some fancy-ass car instead of fixing it. And he doesn't even feel sorry. He's like, I had to have a nice car. You have to fix your business first, you jackass. And that's why they end up sending over Huel, that giant bodyguard of Saul's. And you get comedian Bill Burr, also, I don't remember his character's name. They go over to Ted Beneke's. Stuff goes wrong, he takes a nasty fall, and we're left to believe, well, he died. An act of God. They couldn't plan for that. And then Jesse, he's cleaning up his act, thankfully, and he's doing pretty well. Gus is having him go with Mike on like weird drop points, picking up money or whatever, and then there's staging attacks so Jesse can help out making him think he's important. Gus is talking to him. Walt's pissed because he's like, you talked to Gus and you didn't kill him? Because he gives him rice and everything. He's like, you gotta poison him. And he ends up having lunch over there, or dinner, or whatever, but he can't find an opportunity, so Walt gets so mad, they get in a fight, where Walt actually takes it to Jesse this time. They fought a couple seasons. Was it Season 1 they had a fight in the trailer? But this time Walt actually kind of comes on top, but Jesse turns it over at the end and starts beating on the cancer man. But, like, things don't go well. They're not happy. Jesse ends up, they're sending him over to Mexico to teach the cartel how to cook the blue meth, and then he's going to become property of it. Well, it turns out Gus has problems with them. You get flashbacks to him when, like 20 years ago, he's trying to team up with Steven Bauer from Scarface, and that's where the chair guy's from. The guy that's like... I know, a terrible impression, whatever, but he was in Scarface also, him and Steven Bauer, and they're part of the cartel. They killed Gus's friend, and so 20 years later, takes Jesse and Mike over there and he kills them all. That was really cool and intense scene. That was like the last 15 minutes or so of the episode. He wants serious revenge on these people. He hates their guts and he's so smart with it. You see him just take a brutal revenge. That was cool and added a nice layer to his character. Walt is sort of useless because Gus is like, we don't need you anymore. Takes him to the desert after tasering and tells him, stay away from Jesse and everything. If you go near the lab, we're going to kill your wife and kids. And so Walt's like, I better get out of town. So he goes, he's getting Skylar and the kids, he's trying to round them up. He's supposed to get his money from under the house because Saul has a guy that you pay him an amount of money, you'll disappear. But because she gave it to Ted, he's just laying in the crawl space and laugh. End up in protective custody, except for Walt because he's got business to finish. Jesse, Andrea, the girl he's dating, did I mention that in season 3? I forget, but he's dating her. Her son Brock ends up in like a coma or something. He's real sick. He thinks it's the ricin, so he blames Walt. He fights his way out of it, kind of explaining things, but Jesse's about to shoot him in the head. But things go bad, and they find out eventually after some questioning, and Jesse saying it's the ricin, being wrong, getting accused by cops. They find out it was lily of the valley, some random plant that Brock probably picked up and ate and then caused him to get sick. During this time, Walt builds a bomb for Gus's car. He's going to blow him up, but somehow Gus just figures it out. He's like, something's not right, and he walks away, and Walt doesn't get to blow him up, and like, damn it, and he gets away. But he figures out another plan. He goes to Hector Salamanca, that's the character's name, wheelchair guy with the bell, and he kind of is like, hey, help me take down Gus. So he sets it up where the bomb's in his wheelchair. Gus goes to visit him after Hector talks to the DEA, or threatens to anyway, whatever. He talks to him and then tells him to fuck themselves or something. And then you get that awesome moment. He realizes the bomb's there and he just screams. You see the whole thing, boom, and then all of a sudden he walks out. I remember seeing that going like, no, I thought the guy lived. And I was like, oh my god, season 5, he's going to be hunting Walt the whole time. What's going to happen? And then it kind of moves around. You see, oh, it's Two-Face. And then he drops that. That's a little cartoonish, but it was hilarious. I think it fit, even though it's so cartoonish. I loved it. That's a great way for frickin' Gus, a great villain. He went out hilarious. Then he goes back to the lab and he tells Jesse, yeah, Gus is dead. They torched the whole lab, blow it up, get rid of all evidence. Walter calls Skylar and is like, I won. It's over. And so that's how the season ends. But then right before that, you zoom in on the backyard and realize Walt has the lily of the valley plant. And he poisoned Brock just to manipulate Jesse and realize this guy's an evil bastard when he wants to be. And so it makes him, you just get at this point, yeah, he's turning pretty evil. He's going to poison kids to get what he wants. So that was season 4, and you finally get the conclusion. Yeah, Gus is dead. Walt was able to get ahead of him and figure it out. He came out on top and he proved himself right, and now he's only got places to go from here, possibly catching up to what Walt's doing. This season was great. This would probably be my favorite season because I got to see the finale of this season, but season 4... I just think of that as my favorite season because it's so intense the whole time. Gus wants to kill Walt, and Walt's always got to figure out how to spare his life for this episode, and it's just a cat and mouse, and who's going to die? Are they going to kill each other? You'll see, and that's why this season's so amazing. Written, directed, acted, and all, you know it by now. It's all great. It's fantastic. A+ for season 4 Breaking Bad. If you like this review, like or subscribe, comment below. Tell me what you thought of season 4 Breaking Bad. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time when I review season 5A or season 5 part 1, whatever it is.